You're listening to Up the Turnpike with hosts Mitch Anderson and Matt O'Leary.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Up the Turnpike. We're doing a post-game show for the 3-1 loss to the Washington Capitals at home. The final... Oh, I messed up here. I still have an overlay here that I need to get rid of. There we go. Sorry. Again, going over the 3-1 loss to the Washington Capitals, the final home game of the season. It wasn't a great one. It wasn't a bad one. The only good thing that happened was we got to have a proper send-off for Matt Martin. Thank you, Jake, for the comment. You're absolutely right. That really happy we got a proper send-off for Matt Martin. It does make me wish that Clutterbuck and Bailey got the same thing, but it is what it is. Here we are. Again, the Islanders lose 3-1 to the Washington Capitals. You'll notice my nose is quite red and my eyes might be a little watery. It's not because of Matt Martin unofficially retiring, though that was hard to hold back. I'm still fighting a cold, or I'm getting over one. I don't know. It's been a rough 24 hours. I've been blowing my nose constantly. There are paper towels all over the place here, or toilet paper towels all over the place here. So if I move off screen, I'm going to do my best to mute any sneezes that I might have while I go through this broadcast with you here. Again, 3-1 loss to these Washington Capitals, which is fine, right? We're at the point of the season where losses are kind of good in a way, but we're so late in the season that it's not going to change a whole lot. I think we're, destined to draft where we are, somewhere around 10th, 11th, maybe 10th, 13th, somewhere in there. Doesn't matter. First period starts. Matt Martin gets on the ice, starts the game. Nice little moment between him and the crowd, obviously. And then we immediately go down 1-0 on the power play or the penalty kill here. Penalty kill has been bad all year. It really has. There's not a whole lot to go over here. He just shoots it on the net and it bounces. It seems to bounce off Ryan Pulock. In my opinion, it seems to bounce off of him and in. But that happens when you allow that many shots. They're going to find a way through. That's just how the game works. But whatever, it is what it is. They're down 1-0 through the first 10 minutes of the first period. So I hope all you goal in the first 10-minute bettors hit your bets on that one. But there wasn't much fight, if you will, from the Islanders. I think they were also resigned to their destiny in this game. Whereas, like, a win doesn't matter, a loss doesn't matter. I don't give a shit. Really, it really would have seemed to be like. I will say that Ilya Sorokin, I thought, played pretty goddamn well. I know they got 2 goals on him, but he made a number of stops in this game that I thought were quite impressive. So that's good for him. But it ends the shots 10-8 in that first period in favor of those Washington Capitals, who again have the lead. We go to the second period. And it's much of the same thing. The Islanders are in it. They're in it. They're just there, right? They're there not to be suspended type of thing. Obviously, that's not the official reason that they're there, but it kind of feels like that's what's happening. I don't know about you at home watching the game, but when I was sitting just back there on my chair watching, I had a hard time staying off my phone because you're sitting there going, there ain't a whole lot happening here. There's not a lot of hitting. There's not a lot of anything. It's just a lot of guys going through the motions. And oops, I don't want to play the goal because that'll get us demonetized on that. Dylan Strome scores again to make it 2-0 for the Washington Capitals. Just bad play in our own zone. With just bad board battle there by Scott Mayfield, who throws it up the gut. What the hell was that about? Why are you throwing it up the gut, man? If anything, you rim it along the wall, man. What are you doing? Throwing it right down the slot. There's nothing Sorokin could have done on that. It's just a really, really dumb play by Mayfield, who put himself in a really tough situation for no good reason whatsoever. But it's like Jimmy says, the model of the 24-25 season, we were there. It really feels like in this game, we were there. We made a few mistakes. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, which is not, it's not fun. It's not fun to go through games and just be like, it doesn't matter. It makes me think of that Ted Lasso episode, right, where they're trying to tell those soccer players how we don't have relegation here. And they go like, what happens to the teams who are bad? Well, they play meaningless games in lifeless stadiums. That was exactly today's game. Although the crowd was relatively engaged because of Matt Martin and such, but outside of that, they were not, and through no fault of their own. It wasn't very full either. Again, no fault of their own. Who wants to go and watch this? No one. No one does. We go through the second period. Shots 13-12 in favor of the Washington Capitals, as you can see there. In the third, there was a bit more hustle and bustle from the Islanders, and I say a bit. I found that they found themselves in the Washington Capitals zone quite a bit more, which was great. That's how you turn a game around. And then Hudson Fasching gets his second goal of the year, which great. Good for him. I'm glad he's got 2 goals on the year now. They just do a good job cycling the puck, that third line does, or second line, whatever you want to talk about it. But he throws it towards the net and it goes off of someone. Or Dowd throws it into his own net. So technically, Hudson Fasching didn't even score that goal. But we're giving it to him because we don't score own goals in hockey, which we should. We should start counting those because it's kind of important. But we're on the board and it's only 2-1. So you're going, okay, there's a chance that they could win this game, which again, not ideal for us in terms of drafting, but they keep fighting. They eventually pull the goalie, and then Dylan Strome completes the Hattie. There's not a whole lot to look at here. They lose a faceoff. We win the faceoff, and we still allow the empty net goal. Comité d'erreur. Just not really knowing what the hell they're doing here. Apparently, my web browser gave out. So let me reload the page there. That was strange. Share screen, share that one, share that. There we go. That was weird. Just they win the face off and they get an empty net goal again. It's like you can't ask for any more ridiculousness than that. Period ends again 13-12 for shots in favor of the Washington Capitals. 36-32 are the shots totals for the game. And we limp out of UBS with a loss. I don't know, man. Like, I wasn't expecting much. Ideally, we lost, which is great. It wasn't an embarrassing loss, which is even better. So there we go. Good job, I suppose, all around. I like this comment here from Jake saying, Fasching 7-year deal for his multi-goal season. It seems to be what Lou does, right? Like, oh, we saw an uptick in Hudson Fasching. Give out those 7-year contracts. Ridiculous. I think the best part of this game is, as X-Pun is saying here, how it ended. How you saw the Washington Capitals stick around and shake his hand. Matt Martin is not Marc-André Fleury. He knows that. We all know that. But to see a guy like that battle quite literally through his career to take that spot and then make something with it. He wasn't just like, you're a fighter and we need a fighter. Here you are. It was an impact, not only fighter, but enforcer on a fourth line that really defined not just this team, but an era of this organization. And I think the Washington Capitals recognize that, which is why they were out there. I don't think they were going to do that, but they saw, I forget who was the first one out, but the second one was Beauvillier, which makes a lot of sense. So that was great. Good job by Washington. Absolutely X-Pun. It was a nice way to end that thing for Matty Martin. We'll do the little game that Matt and I usually play. He should be here at some point, I believe, depending on whenever his jet stream is done. But we'll just do it anyways here. Team leader, or the leader for minutes for forwards is, I don't think it's Bo Horvat, is it? Where is Mr. Horvat? Oh my God, I got to make this small. It is Bo Horvat. 21-41 for Bo Horvat. Next is Kyle Palmieri, 21-28. Makes a whole lot of sense. That's our top line. They did a whole heck of a lot of nothing. Kyle got 1 shot to Horvat's 2. Great. Matt Martin, where are you at? Number 17. There you go. 12 minutes, 33 seconds for Matt Martin. He did not have the least amount of ice time. That was Kyle McLean at 11:06. On the defense, Leader was Tony D'Angelo, 23-36. We had quite a few power plays. So which is why his time is up there. Noah Dobson, not too far off, 23-24. Least amount of ice time for defensemen. Obviously, Scott Mayfield. Again, makes a whole heck of a lot of sense there. Okay, let's just jump right into some comments here. I know we've only been on here for 10 minutes, but that's how we roll. For all you 30 people up there, please like and subscribe. Maddie Martin says to do it. Gary says to do it, so you have to do it. There you go. Subscribe. It really helps us grow the channel. It helps us put more into the channel. So more, if you like and subscribe, then this channel will grow. We will do more Islanders coverage. We will do more. Okay. To Nick, who says, are we the only team that operates like this, or are we alone in our suffering and malpractice? I mean, it feels like we're the only ones, but it certainly can't be. I would imagine that when you look at the standings and you look at some of the teams at the bottom there, like you look at the Chicago Blackhawks. I know they decided to do this, but it's been a couple of years now, and they're not getting any better. The Anaheim Ducks, maybe, you look at them, and they haven't really been relevant for a long time. Buffalo's got it worse than we do, right? They haven't made the playoffs in, what is it now, like 14 years, I think it is. Joint record for the longest playoff streak in North American sports with the New York Jets. Not good, man. The Buffalo Sabres certainly have it worse than we do, but we're not far off, which I think is kind of the point that Nick is making there. And it certainly feels like we're one of those teams. To Jeremy, we picked 10th aside from anything drastic happening in the lottery. No more wins, guys. Any names jumping out at fans? Hensler, Smith, Atchison, O'Brien, Desnoyers, Bear, McQueen. I think Bear is the one that kind of stands out. But I'm going to hold out hope for some people who fall. I think we're going to see some people, especially outside of the top 3. Yeah, after the top 3, we might see some volatility there. And that's where Lou's going to kind of strike. I think they may have, a circle around a specific player who they think is going to be available at that spot, but they're going to wait and see if anyone falls, because they generally pick up someone who falls, who's got that extra potential, right? Like Cole Eiserman was one of those guys, Otto Ratu was one of those guys, and Matt is not one of those guys who's popping in right meow. Let me add you to the stage, buddy. How's it going?
Doing pretty good. Unfortunate, I'll say in air quotes, Islanders lost tonight, I guess.
That's right. That's exactly how I was going about it. How much of the game did you?
So I watched the entire thing with no sound.
Right.
So I didn't really get a lot of. I feel like when I do that, I don't get a great feel for it, but I did see the goals that were scored.
Right. I think really that's all you really should take away from the game, minus any Matt Martin related stuff, but nothing really happened. It's a big nothing burger. The Islanders lost 2-1 and then an empty net goal. And then there's some good Matt Martin stuff at the end. That's pretty much it.
I did see, I saw the standing ovation, but I want to go back and listen to the video. Right. I feel like the video would do it more justice. Actually, I slightly lied. So game started at 7:30. I went on the air at 8. But since the game wasn't on MSG, I was watching the ESPN Plus version, and I had the Capitals broadcast. So I listened to the Caps broadcast for the first 15 minutes of the game before muting and going on the air.
Yeah, well, you're better off. That was an annoying broadcast. P.S. It wasn't on MSG today, because ESPN was going to have it because they think that Ovi could have scored his big goal there. And we got a shit broadcast today. Brendan and Burke were great, but they had to deal with clearly inferior technology to get this thing up and running because ESPN pulled the plug at the last second, which is embarrassing for this league.
Yeah, that's annoying. That's really annoying.
The cameras weren't obviously the normal cameras that they use because they're all shaky. It wasn't in HD at all. Even I, pirating the stream, could tell that.
I was going to say, where did you watch it from? Because they did have it on their website or app you could watch it from. So I guess I could take that, but I was watching it on my TV.
But even then, you look at the scoreboard that they had, and it was not the typical MSG one, right? It was whatever they could kind of throw together at the last second.
It was Microsoft Paint.
Yeah, basically. It was really bad. It was really they sorry, I shouldn't say that as if I'm shitting on the people doing the job. They did the best that they could in the circumstances that they had. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay, yeah, this looks very I found a template on Canva, and I'm
Yeah.
using that. Which is, again, I like the Islanders were put in a shitty situation. Like, I'm not blaming them, and like clearly this is not an MSG production, but yeah, okay. So I'm seeing some of the replays of the goals now on this. It does look very different.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, I've gone through the game. I kind of ran through it because like no one gives a shit about the actual game itself. Went through the ice time, so we're just kind of reacting to comments and just kind of flowing from that. I thought that'd be a better thing than like let's really dive deep into this honest to God game where nothing happened outside of the 4 goals, and even then, one was an own goal and one was an empty net goal.
Yeah, and yeah, you had no Matt Martin goal, which I'm upset. I bet on Matt Martin to score. Long odds is plus 1,000 for an anytime Matt Martin goal. But I thought, you know what, if tonight would be the night. Although I did look at the box score while the game was happening, and he had no hits at the time that I looked. What did he finish with hits?
None,
right?
3 shots though. I should have bet the shot line. I wanted to bet the hit line because Matt Martin.
Sure.
But
or you think
no hits? That's wild.
That is crazy.
Insane stuff. So yeah, Jakey is saying here that the identity line will never be forgotten, and clearly wasn't forgotten by the Washington Capitals, right?
No, definitely not.
Did you see the handshake line at the end there?
I did. That's really cool. Do you think this is retiring, or do you think
so.
this is like, hey, I'm leaving the Islanders?
No, I know he kind of said in the media scrum in the locker room, like you never know what's going to happen, but let's be honest here. He's only here because the Islanders screwed up.
Yeah, this is. Oh man, I'm watching the video of him like skating to the logo and like waving to the crowd, and then the whole team hugs him.
Yeah, it's done.
This has been a tough day, man.
Yeah.
And like I know we've been for years, it feels like we've been talking about like, oh, is this the end of the line for Matt Martin? And he keeps coming back. And we've been saying for a while, like it's probably time, but it doesn't, like we were saying with Josh Bailey at the end, like it doesn't make this any easier.
No, it certainly doesn't make it any easier, but it is certainly time. Again, he didn't have a contract coming into the year, signed on a PTO, and just worked his butt off. And they finally gave him one because they're like, well, we have nothing else. We have to do something. Our fourth line is so horrendously bad. We have to bring you back. And played a certain amount of games because of it. And no one else is going to give him that deal. No one else.
No, not a single. And I don't think he would have played anywhere else too. So I know Matt said to the media today, like, yeah, we who knows what the future holds, essentially paraphrasing, but do you see him going to Anaheim to play fourth line minutes next year?
No, Ross Johnson's already got that on lockdown.
Right. That was maybe a bad example, but you know what, like insert
I know what you mean.
Random team here. Maybe it'd be different if he went like to Cup Chase for a year, but I just don't see him signing anywhere else.
No, those Cup teams aren't making that. If he was maybe 5 years younger, maybe even 3 years younger, maybe a Cup team might be like, okay, we need a little bit more muscle, right? Like the Leafs went out and got Ryan Reeves.
Yeah.
And that didn't work out very well for them. Other than that, I don't think so, man.
No.
Okay, what else we got here? A whole heck of a lot. There's Andre. Thankfully, the season is about to end.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. On Thursday, I'm ready to just, no conflict. So it's not like I'm doing a stream and then watch the game. Just sit down on the couch, watch the game, do the post game with you, and I'm ready to just like put a bow on this season.
Yeah. Craig is saying, I love Matty Martz, but I'm sick of consolation prizes. He needed the send-off, but lineup changes were non-existent.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if I understand that totally.
Are we upset that Matt Martin's been brought back like so many times? Is that what that would be my interpretation of it? But I do think he deserves the send-off that he's getting. So
yeah, I think like maybe what Craig is saying, like I'm all for this. This is all great. It just we shouldn't have had to get here.
Okay, then that I will say I think is probably fair.
Yeah, and I'm only coming to that realization because of what you said, right? And I think, and that's it's totally fair. Like, he shouldn't have been on the team, and we said that when he signed the contract. Great, we love Matt Martin. Great that he's here because we love him as an individual. But the team shouldn't be in a position where they're like, we got to sign Matt Martin to fix our fourth line. There's a reason you didn't sign him in the first place, guys.
Yeah.
And here we are. Andre saying for fan appreciation night at Matty Mart's last game, it seemed dead quiet until the end. It really did. Okay. They didn't really show any appreciation for the fans now, did they?
No, not with their play. Did you see the t-shirts that they gave out for this game?
The t-shirts look nice. Absolutely. Someone's going to leave with 10 of those.
Yeah, one of Taylor's coworkers went to the game, so hopefully he picked up a t-shirt. And he's kind of small, so I was like, if they're giving out extra larges, like I know someone who could fit in an XL.
I'm sure. That has to be. They fit around the seat. No way they're giving out smalls.
Yeah. So if it doesn't fit, shout out Will from KPMG. But if yours doesn't fit, send it my way.
There you go. Hockey Life, unreal that the goalie interference gift that the refs gave Lumbus could mean them making it over Montreal. Embarrassing that Montreal has blown it though. That's because Columbus is winning right now, or won tonight. Didn't they?
They did win, so they're still alive.
That's insane. Yeah, my God, Columbus has won 5 in a row. Montreal 2 OT losses, but I think it's 4 losses in a row now. Bad stuff, man. You had it yesterday. That was the game they should have won, Montreal, and they didn't. Ridiculous. Chicago. They had Chicago. The second time Chicago was going to screw up someone's playoffs.
They did it. They always do, right?
So is Columbus going to get into the playoffs because Chicago beat Montreal and go all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals?
Honestly, maybe.
Is that the script?
I know it sounds crazy, but maybe.
Oh, that was the script 3 years ago, so you never know, I guess. Or 2 years ago.
Yeah, two. Oof. You're right.
Okay, so we got Gary saying 25-26 season. Fashing, Duclair, Engvall. Third line.
Oh God, no. That would be that line is
the no-show?
No, just please no.
I mean, they won't show up on the score sheet, and one of them won't show up at all, it seems. So yeah. I say that as if like I'm shitting on Anthony Duclair. I don't know exactly what was said, obviously, between him and Patrick Roy. It was obviously bad enough for him to be like, I got to take a break here. But we're going on, what, a week, 2 weeks now?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
So where in the world is Anthony Duclair? Someone find him.
He might. I would not be surprised if he just didn't play a game again for the Islanders after this.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily blame him, I guess, because he was completely. Well, I kind of would. He did play like shit.
No, he does deserve blame in this.
Yeah,
he does. He doesn't get a complete free pass, but
and it's not like Patty was that bad. It was not great, but it wasn't like a garbage hockey player doesn't belong here. No, you play like shit, man. You've been bad for a while.
He's got to play better. Yeah.
Yeah. Anaheim is our last hope to move up the draft board, leading Minnesota with 3 minutes left. Hopefully they pull it out.
Oh, wait, hold on. Did you see this?
Nope.
Ethan Sears just tweeted this out. Said Matt Martin said Anthony Beauvillier asked if he wanted to drop the gloves on the opening faceoff.
Oh, Bo! What a beaut!
Anthony Beauvillier, a true legend. He probably just laughed at him and was like, "No, Bo, we're not doing this."
Yeah, I'm sure he did. Yeah, because you don't want a staged fight for your last game, and he doesn't want to have to do that.
To Bo, like he'd fold him up like a pretzel, and he doesn't want to punch it. I don't think he wants to punch Anthony Beauvillier.
No,
he had to, but
exactly. P.S. It is tied 2-2. They're in overtime right now. Okay. Ducks have a power play though.
Score.
Oh yeah, I'll keep us tuned in on that. Alon has been fired yet.
Almost.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah, and then like Sloppy saying we're stuck with him for at least another year.
Goodness.
What do you think about this from Alon? Bo Horvat totally regrets signing long term here. I don't think so.
I don't know. I think he's everything he says, he seems to like it. He doesn't seem disgruntled.
Yeah, I don't think he regrets it. I think he's glad he's not in Vancouver anymore because that is a circus still to this day.
It might be worse. I think it is worse, actually. Might be, it is.
It is. And they're only going to get worse in the offseason. Besser's gone, right? He said so much. And then Pettersson could very well be gone. Now what do? You lost Miller, Bo, Besser, Peterson. Great. You got Quinn Hughes and Lekari Mackey. Awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Not ideal. What do we got here? We were talking as you were off air. If the Islanders are maybe one of the most disheartened franchise, basically, and I was like, wow, the Buffalo Sabres have got to be right there.
Yeah, Buffalo's definitely worse.
Right. So that's bad. What else we got here? Okay, the conversation going back and forth. Okay, is there anyone you wouldn't want the Isles to draft? For me, it's Logan Hensler. I'm very concerned about its offensive upside.
I don't know enough about him particularly to comment on that. I feel like of like realistic options.
Yeah, I'm not. There's no one in the draft where I'm like, I don't want that kid.
No, I don't. That's what I meant. It's more so like I just don't have a strong enough feeling where I'm like, oh yeah, that guy's definitely not working out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I hate the idea of taking on a long-term project, but I think we're going to be drafting early enough where we're going to avoid the like Simon Holmstrom situations.
Yeah, you're likely finished with the top 10 pick.
Yeah, right. So like, ideally within 3 years, they're on the team at the latest,
and hopefully good.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. So X-Pun is saying a Matt Martin fan and watch the end of this game was kind of hard to see. That would be for a Matt Martin fan.
Yeah, and waving around.
Ugh. That's rough. It was rough. Hockey Life. So Montreal loses and Columbus beats us in regulation and they're in. Would be nice to screw them since they screwed us. Who screwed us?
Montreal with the no goal or the goalie interference, I guess.
Was that Columbus that had the goalie interference? It was against Columbus where we had the Merzlikins goalie interference that should have counted. So we should beat Columbus so that Montreal gets in.
Nah.
I don't care anyways. Whoever gets in doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't matter. A lot of reactions to what you're saying about Beauvillier. Like, that's amazing. Love Bo. Obviously, that's good stuff.
Yeah, but Bo is a good man.
Exactly. Okay, the Islanders played as badly tonight as they've played most of the season. It was pretty abject, awful.
Boring, uninspiring hockey.
It really was. And I'm going to go for the final one here unless something else pops in here. What are some offseason moves you think will happen?
Okay. I think Duclair and Mayfield go. And I don't think they bring in a massive fit. I'll give you one more. Maybe JG Pajot gets traded. So 3 things. Yeah.
I'm down with you on JG Pajot. I think he's traded. They're going to make spot down the middle, although they technically already have one. You could put Barzal down the middle. I think they go fishing in free agency, but it's as we've discussed. I don't think there's going to be a lot of big fishes. They're going to spend some money, but it's not going to be anything big. Jimmy's asking who would take Duclair. I think what you're referring to is like a buyout type of thing, right?
Yeah, buyout probably a buyout, actually. I was going to say or trade and retain, but with 3 years left on the deal, I don't know if anyone's signing for that.
Yeah, and not looking great at all. I think you're absolutely right there. So I think Mayfield is bought out. I don't think he's done enough since he's come back. I know the stats are kind of with him in terms of wins and losses, but how much has he impacted those? I don't think it's very much. So yeah. And then Wicked 50 is asking who would we move, Pelech or Pulock? I think we're both on Pelech, right?
Yeah, I'm with you on Pelech.
Yeah, I think we're worried about potential injuries, although he seems fine.
He seemed okay, but has missed 20 games each of the last 3 years. So
yeah. So that's it. We lose 3-1 to the Washington Capitals. We end the home season on a downer. Hopefully we can end the away portion of the year on an upper. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see if we can screw up Columbus getting into the playoffs.
All right, guys, that'll do it for us on this one. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. We'll be back on Thursday. New pod episode drops tomorrow, so subscribe to the Patreon for that. I'm Matt, he's Mitch, and we'll catch you next time.